My name is Dekel Quant, also known as Bowflex Barbie, and this is my body, my life, my story. I am a competitive bodybuilder, and I started competing in 2015. I think, yes, that was my first show. The process behind deciding that I wanted to be a competitive bodybuilder was actually very non-fitness related. I did a pageant my senior year of college, getting on stage in the swimsuit, and just being on stage, it kind of set off a bulb in my head, and I was like, this is something that I can do. And I really loved, of course, the swimsuit section of the pageant, and I was already in the gym for so many years up to that point, just kind of because I love fitness, and it had become a part of my daily routine. So I figured, I love being on stage. I was already in the gym, already pretty fit. This is a pretty good avenue for me to take going into competitive bodybuilding. So I just did my research on the different divisions, different competitions, found a coach, and then just kind of hit the ground running and never looked back. Growing up, I was always very active. Both my parents were former collegiate and Bahamas national athletes in their respective sports. My dad was a basketball player, my mom was a volleyball player, and they were very much active, very much into sports. And so my brother and I came up pretty much the same way. We were encouraged to be active, whether that was through sports. For me, I also did some dance. And they really just wanted us to, find what we liked and what we enjoyed, and, some way of being active and moving and, being healthy. So I got into fitness when I was 14. I was in the 10th grade in high school. It was maybe a few months after I would have lost my mom to breast cancer. And my dad, he encouraged me to tag along to the gym. Him and my brother, and that's when it started. I got hooked. It was a form of therapy for me. It wasn't so much for a body goal or an aesthetic goal, or even for sports, even though I was playing sports. It was really just I went and I fell in love with getting stronger and seeing myself improve, and it was just a great way to release all of that, all those emotions that I was feeling from losing my mom at the time. So that's where my fitness journey really began, and from there it just kind of continued to grow as I continued to improve, and I set more goals for myself, and yeah, I really just fell in love with it more and more the more that I did it. It's definitely different going from, I just like fitness, I like going to the gym and working out, versus I'm now preparing for a bodybuilding competition. For me, my very first show, of course, I wanted to be ready. I wanted to make sure that I stepped out there in good conditioning, and I wanted to be competitive with women that had been doing it for longer than me. I didn't want to look like the new girl, so I trained. I followed my training regimen. I stuck to my diet to the T. I actually prepped for my first show for almost 22 weeks, which is like insanely long. But I wanted to get into the routine, and I really wanted to make sure that I was ready. It's definitely different because when you're just training for fun or for general health, there's not really a end goal. And for competition, there is. The end goal is that show. So you have a timeline that you're working with. You have dates and goals you need to be meeting on these dates. So that makes it a little bit more, I think, exciting. It definitely gave my training more purpose. And I think it pushed me to the next level in my fitness as well. So when I first got back to Freeport after graduating college, I decided shortly after that I wanted to compete. I want to say I graduated in December, and by January I was looking for shows. Like, it was a very quick decision. One, because I think that I wanted something to keep me busy other than work. I wanted something to kind of invest my time into, my effort into. And the person that I was dating at the time, I told him, I had these, and I was so excited. I had done all my research. I had started looking at all the different things I'd have to buy, and things I'd have to plan for. And I told the person I was dating at the time, like, hey, like, I have this idea, well, I didn't even say I have this idea, I said I'm going to, because at this point I was already decided. I was not asking for permission. I was just like, this is what I'm doing. And I shared that in hopes that, this is going to be something that they support. They weren't as, I would say, into fitness as me, but they had a pretty good appreciation for fitness. And the response that I got was kind of like, oh, like, I can see why you want to do that. You like to show off. And I was kind of like, what? Like, what is that supposed to mean? Like bodybuilding is not just you step on stage and show off. It's a little bit different than taking a selfie in your bathroom and posting it. It's a lot more work. And I knew right away that he didn't get it. Like, he did not understand why this was something that I wanted to do, why this was important to me beyond just showing off. So that was kind of tough. That was kind of tough to have the person that was supposed to be your quote unquote biggest supporter just not really stand behind what it is that you were doing. And I can remember he made comments like, oh, like, I don't like hard girls. I don't want you to get hard. I don't want you to get too muscular. And so we had like this back and forth exchange about like, oh, so we're gonna break up if I get too much, like, all of that back and forth. And so very soon I realized that this is something that I'm going to have to push myself through. Like, I knew that in that moment this was not something I could depend on him to really encourage or truly support me through. But that relationship lasted my first competition season. And when I started dating my now husband, he was, even before I started dating him, he supported me more than anyone else had ever supported me before. My family was very supportive in helping me prep, but he took it to another level as far as support. I mean, like, anything that I needed help with, even before I could think about it sometimes, he would give me that help.
Alright, so I'm done training and now I am gonna prep Dekel's food for the day. Just gonna pans here, it's tilapia. So she's doing tilapia and I think it's asparagus or something like that.
And it just really shows the difference between someone tolerating and supporting what it is that you do. And I think that's a big driving force in whether you are successful or not.
Let's go, baby, keep it tight. Let's go, 363.
363, 225, switch place.
Yeah! Let's go, set.
And I think for some women, they want to get fit and they want to like be committed to their fitness programs, fitness regimens, but they don't have that true, genuine support, whether it's because their significant other isn't on that same wavelength, doesn't have the same appreciation for fitness. Maybe they are like my ex and like, I don't want you to be hard, or maybe it is some insecurity, like I don't want you to look better than me and then, leave me. Or I think it's in either way, I think that type of behavior is rooted in some type of insecurity. And it's unfortunate that is sometimes the hindrance between someone going after a goal, whether it's fitness or not, someone going after a goal or not, or someone having so much resistance from someone in their circle that should be really helping them get closer to their goal, but is that obstacle instead, or is a hindrance to that goal, or is the reason they aren't even moving and pursuing it at all. So I know personally that the right support system and having that person that is not just listening to you but doing for you and making your journey as important to them as it is to you. And I just know that how beneficial that can be and how much of an elevation tool that can be So I would say to anybody and everybody, if you don't have that type of support, you need to find it.